What's the difference between feeding fresh grass and silage?
We're probably getting 6 cents over the base price that the co-op are paying.
Eat when you're hungry and drink when you're dry, and that's our policy. So hi, I'm David Flynn. I'm farming here in Belle Hindon from down in County Cork with my brother. We're farming in partnership with my brother Paul and our two wives. We're primarily dairy farming. We keep about 100 of the calves as well for a store cattle system, and we have a little bit of tillage. We come from a tillage background, so I suppose some people say we have a bit of shiny metal or heavy metal disease, so we still try and do a lot of the machinery work ourselves. We're milking 170 spring calving cows. Our farm, I suppose, is a bit fragmented. We held on to all the tillage ground, and we have some fantastic landowners that have leased land to us with probably between 20 and 30 years in some cases. That's where we're bringing a lot of the silage and the zero grazing from, because look, at the shoulders of the year we wouldn't have enough ground or enough grass to sustain the herd. We do all our own zero grazing, obviously. We do our own silage, we do our own slurry, fertiliser spreading, all that. So a lot of those tasks are probably my jobs, and Paul would be the stockman. He would be more the herd health man and looking after the milking and so on. Even though, to be fair, everyone does everything when we have to, but we would have our kind of our own separate duties. While I said we always had tillage, yes, but we always had cows as well. So I suppose when I was a kid there was only 20-25 cows here. Quotas were a bit of a restriction. We kind of got up to about 80 cows within the quota regime, but as they say, when the shackles came off and when the milk quotas went, we had the opportunity. I suppose we're fortunate enough the kind of land that we have, we were able to do anything with it. We grew every crop, I suppose, from potatoes, sugar beet, maize, fodder beet. Then when the sugar beet industry failed in Ireland, spring barley, winter barley, we still grow a bit of spring barley for our own straw. And we just decided to simplify the whole thing, that we just specialise on the dairy. And I suppose that's why the zero grazer was bought. I think the fact that there's two of us here, one of us can go and get the grass, and the other guy can be looking after the cows or milking the cows, even if it came late in the evening. It gives us an awful lot of options, the zero grazing. We're able to, as I said, bring in grass early in the season and later in the season. But if there's a drought or something like that, you can move grass from A to B. We have about 40 acres of dedicated zero grazing land, which basically there is no fencing, no water or anything like that in these fields. They're just solely used for either zero grazing or silage. They're only about 5 or 6 kilometres up the road, but it's somewhere that we can't get cows to. I can be out of the yard, get my load of grass, be back in the yard tipped in maybe 45 minutes and have it all pushed in and tied up in less than an hour. So it's not while it's another job, it's not the most onerous task going,
Hi, I'm Paul Flynn. I'm working in partnership with my brother Dave. I'm on the cow side of a thing, whereas Dave would be the machinery man. I'm more in charge of the cows. At this time of the year, it's predominantly in charge of the milking. We just after coming out of the calving season. Calving would be my thing, registering the calves, making sure they're all alive and well, looking after the cow, making sure that she's okay health-wise, keeping her milking, organising milkers if I need to. On the farm here, we're predominantly, it would be a British Frisian-based herd. There's a small amount of Jersey, tried out the Jersey just to see could we increase the milk solids a little bit. But it would predominantly be grass. We don't own a diet feeder, so we are achieving milk solids with grazed grass, and if it's not grazed grass, it's a bale silage that we do ourselves. In the parlour is the only place where they get fed concentrates. Last year we achieved around 510 kilos of milk solids per cow on 800 kilograms of concentrate per cow. Like our protein currently, as of today, is 3.45 and our fat is 5%. Now a lot of that is down, we're just starting the second round here at the start of April, so a lot of that is achieved through grazed grass. So by achieving higher milk solids, you're obviously achieving the best money possible for your milk. We're probably getting 6 cents over the base price that the co-op are paying per month, and like that extra money that we're getting for those solids, we think it helps justify us having the zero grazer. Now the system here operates on the cows, even though they're in here behind me today, They go to a paddock day and night. So the system normally works is the cows come in the evening time. There would be fresh grass in front of them, as you see here. As we're milking, the cows can eat the grass, and as they're returning back out of the parlour, they can also eat the grass. Then it's just a simple changeover of a gate, and they're all eating the grass. When they have enough that they can reach, they are left out to a paddock of grass. In the morning time, when they come back in around 6:15, I have that grass pushed into them again, what was remaining of the load from the night before, and they eat that. Then they go back to the paddock again to eat an allocation that I've given them in the field. It might sound complicated, but it's actually a pretty simple system. Feeding grazed grass is the cheapest feed that you'll get. It's the highest energy, the highest digestible dry matter of, like, the dry matter of grass that they're getting there is probably, that stuff there currently would be around 19-20%. There's no alternative. It probably is the best feed of all for a cow. And if you can achieve it, then why not try it? We have found there, even in early spring, if we had put out a bale of silage to the cows and Dave was able to bring in a load of grass, they will just leave the silage and eat that grass over the silage, licking every blade of it off of the silage if they can at all. They want it, we give it to them. Simple. It's a very important point of zero grazing that you're getting just that right quality grass. Like at the moment now, we are on early April, they are getting 4 kilograms of nuts in the parlour and they're achieving 28.5 litres. That's just on today's ticket for the milk collection.
We had a different machine. We only went to a gym with this Grasstech machine in the last couple of months. The machine, while we had it, we were thankful to it. It was a good, strong machine. It wasn't an Irish-made machine. Jim traded it in and he gave us a good deal. And I like this machine. It's simple, it's straightforward. You know, the concept is just basically that you can go out, cut your load of grass, come back in without any drama, no hassle. It's a nice, simple, straightforward machine. The machine I had, for example, there was grease nipples in under the mower that had to be, you have to take down these covers and grease it maybe after every 20 loads. There's nothing like that with this mower. It's all seal bearings, etc. So we went up to Grasstech. Dara in the workshop, he gave us a full tour of the machine being built. We were very impressed with the build quality that's going to these machines now. There's some serious metal in all the chassis and the drawbar and the pivots and the pins and the bushings. We went for the bogie axle, and you know, it's I think it's a well-built machine. I think it'll last us a long time. Also, we have friends like John Tobin in Kilworth is a good friend of ours. He's running Grasstech machines with over 10 years, and we were seeing that he was doing 10-15 loads a day without any bother, you know. And we said, like, if he's doing 10 or 15 loads a day, it'll surely do 10 or 15 loads a week for us. So this machine, it has the widest tyres we can get, I think, and I didn't have a steering axle in the previous machine, and I've noticed, you know, if I was turning short in the field, that it was dragging the ground, and you were marking the ground. I asked Jim about the steering axle option, and yeah, he said they were able to do a steering axle with the bogie, so we went for that. It was a couple of thousand extra, but having had a machine that didn't have it, I can see huge advantages in it. It turns in smarter at the ends. You're not pinching the swart, especially if you're going on a little bit of a curve. You can just leave the spool valve open for the steering axle to follow you around. I was out zero grazing in February when we wouldn't leave the cows out. I find that I go out even in bad conditions. You go out in the field, you're only in the field for maybe 35-40 minutes getting your load. You're in, you're out, and your grass brought home for the cows. Whereas if we leave out the herd of cows, the cows are out for several hours. I don't care, even if it's what you call on-off grazing. The cows are up and down to the water trough. They're standing at the gap maybe at 3 o'clock wanting to come in, and every time that cow moves, she's making a hole in the ground and she's poaching and she's doing damage. I'm talking about in bad conditions. This year wasn't an issue, but like the problem then is when you come to the second round, all those holes are full of water, and you know that slows up the growth, and it's obviously it's taking away productive grass ground from the plant, where there's plants being shoved into the ground. So with the zero grazer, we find that yes, you may have a bit of compaction. Luckily enough, on our free draining kind of ground, it's not an issue. So we get away nicely, to be honest about it. Very rare that we leave any marks in the field. Look, if it's teeming rain and it has rained all night the night before, the cows won't go out or the zero grazer won't go out. You have to be sensible about it as well, and the cows will have to get silage. But it's a grass-based system. Our cows are the most of our milk is being achieved off of grass, and only for the zero grazer that wouldn't be possible. So I suppose some people would ask you, what's the difference between feeding fresh grass and silage? I mean, sure, it's like chalk and cheese in my book anyway. Your milk solids are going to be way better. The input into the cow is going to be much higher. I mean, it's the most natural thing in the world for the cow to eat. They will eat more zero grazing grass. It's cut clean. It's plated up in front of them. There's no dung pets or anything like that in it. So you will get an awful lot of grass into a cow maybe in an hour. Whereas if she's out grazing in a field like this, where she's picking a bit here and a bit there, it could take her several hours to get the same amount of grass in. But as regards the grass versus the silage, I mean, sure, look, silage it depletes their intakes, it pulls down their solids. Grass is a way better. It's a way cheaper, It's a win-win as far as we're concerned. The cow is continually getting grass, and you're leaving your silage in the yard. Eat when you're hungry and drink when you're dry, and that's our policy.